Hello, 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 hello out there. Hello, how are you? Hello and hello and hello. I am Big Meach, and this here is a Big Meach moment. Now, normally, most of the time, honey, on a Saturday, we're doing dishing tea with Big Meach, right? However, I am literally just getting in the door. I committed myself to doing something that uh, I just let my mouth get my ass into something I really didn't feel like doing. However, it's done and over with now. I had to take someone um, to Birmingham, and it's done now. Okay, and they needed it because right now it's a personal thing for them, as they are reminiscing and mourning the loss of their mom, the anniversary of it. I know this is kind of personal, and he just needed to get away. At the same time, my mouth sat there said, "Yeah," too quickly, and um, yeah. Um, so be that as it may, okay. Oh shit! Tank and a half later, and I wasn't. Yeah, I'm here, but nonetheless, like I said, I'm just walking in the door. And I'm not going to be long because we got donut factory duties in the morning, and tomorrow is my long day because I would be there for 16 hours. Ah, yeah, okay. But I want to come to you with this particular moment because uh, this question was posed to me, and I want to give it to you, okay? And hopefully, you guys will chime in. I went live for this versus recording it. Um, because I wanted you guys to chime in with me if you're still up and about. If not, and you're watching this in the replay or whatever, honey, still come in and do your thing, okay? And put in the comments and carry on, and then share this with other folks so that we can get the discussion going. And this discussion basically is about who is it that we have our young black men look up to for guidance, for inspiration, for them to pattern themselves after and carrying on. Who do we look to for that? Okay. Uh, and not just someone who is a sports star or a TV movie star, because usually we always look to those particular folks. But who is it? Who are those particular black men that are the true essence of black men that we want our young boys and our young princesses, to look to? Who is it that we say yes, study them, or they have the qualities that we look for in wanting to be an upstanding black man? Mm-hmm. It was asked of me because we were um, uh, talking, and we were going over, the whole diaspora of our culture. And of course, this is also stemming from conversations about the P Valley episode. And so it becomes this whole thing of, okay, here we have, we were talking about strong black men and what does that supposed to mean and what is that supposed to represent. And yet when we're looking over it, when we were kids, folks that we had to look up to, it was always about being Thurgood Marshall or just like Thurgood Marshall. We had Coleman Young. We had Jesse Jackson. Not necessarily Al Sharpton. Al wasn't necessarily someone to be a role model, but to have his fight, of course, all of the entertainers, and at that time, O.J. Simpson was one of the ones. I mean, O.J. Simpson, James Brown, um, 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 I'm trying to think because it was one of the Power to the People children up in Detroit. Detroit, if you were here, help me because it was a couple of other people, that we had aspired to be, and then those who taken national platforms, and those who were in the public eye, um, of course, Martin and Malcolm, you know. We didn't necessarily put James Baldwin on that list. However, we were always told or taught that we should aspire to speak, and command the English language as he did because he was a wonderful orator, you know. When we look over the history of folks like what's his name, Paul Robeson. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. He was an actor, yet an activist for African Americans and our Black causes and carrying on. Thank you, Nelson Mandela. Yes, okay, Nelson Mandela. Okay, Desmond Tutu. Let's go with Desmond. Okay, in that same regard. When we look at this, we okay, Colin Powell. Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. That wasn't necessarily one of my choices, but that came later in the '80s and stuff. More when I was a teenager, and carrying on. So, okay, yeah, I have to give that. Okay, um, then naturally, of course, President Obama. But the question is, in this day and age, when we are so busy worried about the image of black men and saving black men and we are at ends and we're in this powwow between the image of black men and what folks believe that Hollywood is doing to that image, along with the black versus the LGBT community that are at odds with each other. The question still is, who do we have now that we have folks to look up to aspire to be? That's not necessarily entertainers. Okay, because we could easily say Rick Ross, we could say Jay-Z, we could say Dr. Dre, and we're gonna say those because these are children, honey, who, they done made billionaire status or whatever. They got businesses and this, that, and the other. They come from the streets and have made something of themselves. And turn their lives around in the positive, But that there, what do we know about them of substance that we say, okay, we want to aspire, we want our young men to look up to aspire to be like them? What do we have? What do they have in that repertoire? What have we researched about them? What have we researched about them that will put into place, to where we can sit up there and say, hey, listen, look at this particular cat. And then here's the other thing. Do you watch your children to see who they gravitate to? Do you watch them to see who they naturally and innately gravitate to? Because apparently, one of the things that I teach this all the time, spirit knows spirit. Okay, good, bad, or indifferent. So if you pay attention to children, especially when they're still in single digits, they're going to gravitate to what they know is attractive to them. Okay, it's going to be the bells and the whistles of what they feel they identify with. Then they're not going to have language for it, of course, because they don't understand it. They just know they're going to pivot their way over there. And if you watch and pay attention to your children, you will get an idea. Hold on, Mark. Stop with the silliness. There are millions of hardworking black men and black fathers, black kids look up to every day. Let me tell you something. This is not silliness, goddammit. The whole point of this is to sit up there. I said, who is it that we have in the spotlight? Don't come for me with this motherfucking bullshit, nigga. You don't know who the fuck I am. And you don't even know what the fuck this is all about. And if I'm coming at you wrong, it's because this hit me wrong. We'll just stop with the silliness. I didn't say nothing about whether or not black fathers are doing that. That's not what the fuck I said. Pay attention before you start commenting on some bullshit you don't know nothing about yet. Pay a fuck attention. I said, who do we have in the spotlight that are not actors and sports stars that we get folks to look up to? Okay, that folks are looking up to every day. Okay, that we want them to aspire to be, because when we used to have, those particular people that wasn't necessarily the neighborhood folks that we said, okay, these are the people. This is what they want to be. This is what this is. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Okay, it's the bigger picture, not just the everyday folks, because the everyday folks, yeah, most of the time we overlook the everyday folk because they're everyday, and a lot of minds of other people, they're just mundane. Okay. And it's not taking them anywhere. A lot of us like to dream and go big. And when we dream and go big, we try to go into those particular places to where we say, listen, I want my child to be like this, particularly coming from single parent households. Okay. So let's go there. Stop with the silliness. Are you out your mind? You're not listening. Wait a minute. My second role model is Demetrius Dennis Taylor. I look to him. He is very loyal and responsible, stubborn, dependable, strong, and determined. I'm not all that stubborn. Okay. For the media king, Big Meach. Oh, stop it. Okay. I really don't look up to many people because of the BS and their drama. Well, now, okay, now let's go there, because see, this is the other part of that. Okay. Because oftentimes what we have is just that. A lot of folks, like I was saying with this comment from Mr. Davis here. Most of the time, because it's the mundane. You know what I'm saying? A lot of folks don't take that into consideration, particularly those who are using the children as pawns and as this, that, and the others. Okay. Wait a minute. I'm gonna go back to that damn comment, because see, when we get on this, see, I love to bring up this subject, because I have to remind folks that the CDC did a survey, and it was a complete study within the last couple of years. It was pre-pandemic, okay, where they have determined during the study, and these are the pink children, honey, the ivory and pink children, that said there and did a study that said Black men are the best fathers in this country. Okay, that came from their report. Okay. Now, I don't know how many of us are going to believe that. Okay. But maybe we will, because the white children said it. Okay. But what we have is the narrative that those who, those in the hood, you got so many folks on child support, you got this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. And it becomes that section of the community becomes the narrative for the greater whole. And so when we have that narrative, then it's hard to pin down, who do we have to aspire to? Because most of the time that narrative comes from a limited resource. You have that narrative coming from, the disenfranchised neighborhoods, the hood, and this, that, and the other, where a lot of opportunities, are only dreams. You know what I'm saying? So when we have that particular narrative that's trying to define the entire populace, that is where we run into problems. Okay. That's where we run into problems. Okay. Would they chill me, that nigga owe child support? No, it just hit me wrong, and I, like I said, if I came on him wrong, then my apologies, because he may not have, I always say, when we doing text messages and carrying on, you have to take your feelings out of it, because it's just a written word. And most of the time when we read it, we will read it with our own interpretation and our own. I hear somebody else's voice, because I don't even know who the hell this is, and so it hits me wrong So I'm reading this and it hit me wrong. And so, yeah, I snapped. So if that's not how he meant that, then I apologize. But at the same time, I'm still gonna stand behind what the hell I said. And that there is, sweetie, listen, because that wasn't the area that I was going into. We weren't talking about black fathers that black kids look up to every day. I said on the collective whole. Okay. So yeah. What we got? Ben Crump, Sean King, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and Tamika Mallory. Very interesting. Now you know what? All of those are very, very good. Very, very good. Very, very good. Sean King is kind of controversial, but yeah. Okay, okay. I will take that though. I'll accept that. I call him Degrasse. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Okay. I wonder if he related to Eric Dyson. They look like they could be. Well, that's probably they just both light skinned. That's all. They have no similar features. They just light skinned and with the same last name. But I've always wondered if they were related. Um. Uh. So yeah, but those are good. As far as folks that to want to aspire to or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Um. But we have to also go into the why. And like I said, if you watch your children how they gravitate, watch your children. They will naturally show you what they are about, what direction they would like to go into, because they gravitate to other people naturally. Some have a talent for good and want to be this and the next ball player, the next scientist, the next police officer. They gravitate to that. Then you have some that would gravitate to the eels. They want to be the criminals and this, that, and other, because whatever that is, it attracts them. Okay, they don't know why, it just does. But it's up to us as parents to make sure that when you pay attention to that, if that's not the direction you would like for them to go into, then it's up to us as parents to show them other avenues, to give them other options, okay? And to make sure you set up boundaries. Once you set up boundaries, okay, it then will affect everything differently. But as you know, children are their own people. Regardless of what you say, as a matter of fact, if they made up their minds, every time you say no, don't do that, that's the first thing they're going to run to. Okay, that's the first thing. So you have to sit down and guide very carefully, because oftentimes that's what it is. Why is my forehead itching? Okay, I feel like I got bit by a mosquito or something across my forehead. Okay. Uh so yeah. Oh, hello. What Margot Thunder. Hello there, my baby. How are you? Okay. The question tonight, my darling, is you know, looking at us as a community, and we say that the image of black men, we're trying to refurbish that image. But the question is, who do we have that's out in the public eye that is not a sports star or TV movie star or some kind of entertainer that we will say is man enough or have the aesthetics that we would like for our young black men to aspire to emulate, you know, to pattern themselves after, or at least to see that this is the kind of success you can have. Because oftentimes, um, we know about the entertainers and carrying on, and a lot of that gets caught up in fast life, money, and superstardom. But when we talk about, having some substance, those who are making a difference in the community, those who are making a difference in the lives of other people and youngsters and this, that, and other. Those who walk the walk and talk the talk. No, they're not perfect. And when they have their faults, their failures, or their low points or whatever, you see them because they're transparent and be like, listen, it wasn't a good day today, but we can bounce back from this. You know what I'm saying? And not trying to make it seem as though everything is always cookies and cream, honey. Because that ain't always the case. Okay. So That is where we are. But I'm going to add an addendum onto this because I'm going to talk to my children, the same gender loving LGBT children, and because this was the second part of our discussion, and I was talking with Haji, y'all, because y'all know he likes to get very philosophical at times. But this is the part that struck a nerve. Um, Mentors, being a mentor to someone, especially in the alphabet community, okay? Because what we end up having is folks claiming they want to be mentors to the youth and carrying on, but they don't know how to keep their hands off of them because they end up becoming sexual predators. Okay. And so Haji and I had this discussion because he wanted to say that at one point he used to believe that pedophile was not synonymous with LGBT. He said, but every time I'm hearing LGBT folks talk, they always talk about, they always want something young and younger and this, that, and the other, and, going after 16-year-olds and this, that, and the third. And I said, stop. I said, don't you ever put and make synonymous LGBT and pedophile, because that's not synonymous. That the pedophilia is a crime. Pedophilia is a crime. I want that to be clear. Nobody who is of same gender loving of this community, of the alphabet community, the LGBTQIA plus, however you want to deem it, the facts, the sissies, the dykes, however you want to deem it. Here, none of us subscribe to that as far as this whole idea that it is okay to touch children in a sexual manner. None of us subscribe to that shit. Okay? And I want it to be perfectly clear. For those of you who think that way, I want you to bite your upper lip, honey, and stump your toe on the corner of a hard desk. Okay? Because that's not what this is. Okay? That is not what this is. Okay? At the same time, I'm saying that's not what this is. I still have to get on those who feel that because you're older, that younger means better. Because we got straight folks that always go after, y'all see it all the time, honey. Old Uncle Johnny, Uncle Henry, or whoever at the family reunion, always looking after the little teenagers, honey. They just develop and carrying on, 16, 17, 18 years old. Talk about how tight they are, how this they are, how that they are. And you sit up there in the fantasy in your head, okay, and carrying on. And now you try to ease your way in. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I was 16. No, 15. I was 14 going on 15. And I had a lady who, and I got it, but I let it go over me because my mind was not there with her. She was like twice my age or whatever, like 36, 37. And which happened to be my mother's age, okay? And all of her conversation was all about, it was very, 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 very sexual in nature, honey. There was nothing wrong with I was talking about a cat. There was nothing wrong with a little pussy here and there. And we got a little kick out of it, ha, 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 ki, blah, blah, blah. But I showed no interest in her, okay? And it took someone else to point it out. In fact, it was my ex-girlfriend's mother who was pointing out that she was hitting on me. And I was like, for what? Why? Okay. But at that particular time, honey, my my mind was nowhere near older women at the time, let alone I was just really trying to deal with my girlfriend at the time because I was trying to make this straight thing work, and carrying on. At the same time, we in the same gender loving community and carrying on, we have a lot of kids who come out early and carrying on, and they get into this thing about they think they know what they're doing because their hormones are raging and things, and so they think that because they are ready to have sex and are sexually active, they think they're grown. Okay, and it takes someone, all the older cats to sit down there and ruin these children, because what you do is you use them for their sex, you knowing that they're not mentally ready. Okay. And then you treat them like dogs, or rather you create dogs. Okay. And so that there becomes a whole big to do. Okay. Uh uh so, and I always say this, I get into conversations with my peers constantly. Hell, we in our 50s. What the hell does a 20 something year old do for you outside of sex? You know what I'm saying? For you to actively pursue them. That's one thing if they pursue you, okay? It's one thing, and you see where their maturity level is because they are adults. At the same time, when you sit up there going younger than 21, and you talking about you want a 16, 17-year-old and this, that, and the third, why? Why? I had someone tell me, oh, it keeps me relevant. Relevant to what? And to who? What the fuck do y'all have in common? And just because you know how to listen to their music and understand rap lyrics and carrying on, does not mean that you are in the groove, you know? And so it becomes a whole tit for tat. And so now with my community, I often, we have to visit this as far as mentorship is concerned, because the question became, well, do y'all put them children in check all the damn time? You have to put them in check. Because what happens is, just like I said, if you sit down there and create this monster, okay, then what happens? Because now you've released this terror onto the world. Okay, you've released the terror onto the world. Because they don't know nothing about love and relationship and companionship and carrying on. All they know is heartbreak. You break their hearts, child, it's ridiculously insane. Now they're trying to pick up the pieces that nobody's going to help them do. And so then they start to shape their opinions or what love is supposed to be based on those particular experiences. Hell, y'all heard me say, it took me 15 years to get over my first love. 15 years, because everything I did, I was comparing it to that. And here is where it is. Comparing it to something that I made up in my head because I was not paying attention to the signs. I had fallen in love with a drug addict, okay, who was using me to get high. And I didn't realize that. And then I thought, oh, the love is a powerful thing, honey, and my love is going to win him over and blah blah blah. And at 18 years old, that's a cute little fantasy, honey. But that there was something he had to get over, because the drugs were his power. That what was overpowering him. You know what I'm saying? So those are the things that when we look back and we say over our lives and what we had to learn from our youth and carrying on, these are the things that are teachable moments. At the same time of them being teachable moments, the older cats or whatever need not be trying to make them children pray. You understand? Because if you're trying to mentor them, the question is, what are you mentoring them to be? What is the goal? What's the end goal? What are you hoping that under your tutelage that they come out with? Because all of my kids, honey, what I try to train my kids to be are productive citizens. And my goal is to guide them into the way that they say that they want to go. Now it's a hard road, because in that, as a parent, yes, I will chastise and carry on if you're not doing what you say you're supposed to do. Especially when you show me something otherwise. You show me something other than what we said we was doing, honey, that's a wrap. No, especially if you're up under my roof. If you're up under my roof, you're here for a reason. That means we're gonna work the plan. Okay, what's your plan? Okay, once you get the plan, then I want to see the results. Okay, now sometimes I'm a little too lenient. Okay, at times and carrying on, and there are moments where I should say something and I opt not to try to keep it level. Keep it at an even level or an even tone. because I'm always the hard one. Everybody, when I go off, everybody swear I'm always mean or whatever. But no, when I go off, it's because it's a goddamn reason for me to go off. Because goddamn it, this ain't what you said you was going to do. This ain't the plan. And then on top of it not being the plan, goddamn it, I'm the only bitch in here paying the bill. Okay, so because they gonna come for me, this ain't got shit to do with you. So I need for you to get on top of your game so that you can get where you say you want to go. Because if you keep fucking around, then you're gonna jeopardize all of us because they're gonna come after me. Okay, so so that there is that. So what is the end goal for your mentorship? And I'm gonna answer to my straight folks as well. When you bring someone up under the fold and up under your tutelage, your teachings and carrying on, what is the end result? And then do you become the person that they can aspire to be like? Do you become that person? Okay, or do you set yourself up to where they can see you in that light? Because remember, I'm not looking for superstars. I'm looking for the person who is more than just the everyday person, but perhaps because of what you've done, you can then become, spotlighted and carrying on to where folks will know your name. Like we everybody knew in Detroit we had Mother Waddles, honey. Now, because of her work and carrying on, everybody knew who Mother Waddles was. You know, uh, I'm trying to think of a couple of men. But see, now how about that? There's not men on the tip of my tongue like that, to where I could throw it out just as quickly. You see what I'm saying? So this becomes something that we as men need to do better with. You understand? This is something that we have to look into. So that if you say you want our young black men to have better images, and you're tired of Hollywood doing this and doing that, then what do we have in place? I know we have a ton of organizations, 100 Black Men and all these other kinds of organizations, but what's the fruit of their labors? What's the fruit of it? Because right now, I'm gonna be transparent with this as far as how I feel. Right now, I just see them as people who are good in name only. They may have a couple of successes, but for them to be the type of organization that they are, I'm expecting them to be on the forefront when it comes down to a lot of the stuff that we have dealing with. I didn't hear any of them, and I'm not saying that they wasn't there, but how come 100 Black Men were not out there when we were doing all of the protests with George Floyd and all the police brutality? Okay, where are they when it comes down to teaching men how to be responsible for their children? How not to get hooked up into the child support system, how not to have 34 kids and 16 baby mamas. Okay, where are those particular folks to where we're honing those in, honing in the brotherhood? You know what I'm saying? Now, we're doing better. We're trying to get our brothers to go to school. You know, there was an article, I think it was in Essence. What was this? This is 2022. I want to say in maybe 18 or 19, where the four best friends, all of them became doctors. All four Black men, all of them, they pushed themselves each other, and all four of them are doctors, and they're working in their communities. I think out of Chicago. Um, there's a family of doctors. Actually, there was another story, a whole family of doctors. They're all of them are brothers and sisters, following in their parents' footsteps. Okay, so when we talk about these kind of things, who do we have that can be inspiration for our people? That's on that particular level. That's not a sports star or an entertainer, TV movie star. Okay, and if you believe that you're that person, are you sure that you are? Because what are the fruits of your labor? What are the fruits of your labor? Okay. Um, yeah. Okay. Let's see. This is what I had a mentor growing up, and he was 100% gay. He never bothered me, but taught me a lot about life on the loving thy neighbor side of the commandments. Okay, okay, cool beans, cool beans. There are good gay role models and mentors, and I agree with Lavelle. No one, um, not one time I was bothered or touched. Okay, all right. David Mel Branch, good role model and mentor. That's my baby, honey. David is my baby. Okay, fresh fish comes in size 18. Sick of you. Okay. Okay. You have to be 35 and up, but I don't need anything or person under the age of 35 telling me what to do and not having no to the no. Okay. Uh you're the good parent. Go to go to God, the one to ask. Okay, well, yeah. Okay. Train them up in politics. How about that? I like that. Okay. First and foremost, becoming a great mentor means you are also willing to become a great student as well in the midst of nurturing and up and coming youth, building them up for society to be a strong pillar in the world. You too, in turn, and will learn skills that will set the narrative in your life. So, what you speak on, you also become a walking poster or testimony, which makes all your teachings more believable to the young man or woman. Exactly. You got to walk the walk and talk the talk. Okay. Walk the walk and talk the talk. I can only think of one billionaire, Robert Smith. Okay. Wow. Okay. So, in that there is what this is. So I want to continue this conversation a little further with some other folks when we come in, but I just wanted to come in and throw that your way so that we can get this particular part of the discussion going. Mark Davis, I'm coming back to you, baby. If you still listen, you probably hung up or whatever after I snapped. But again, I'm going to apologize if I came at you wrong and if that was not your intention. Okay. Again, I read this and it just hit me. Okay. So if that was not your intention, I do apologize for snapping the way I snapped. At the same time, I still stand behind what I said when I said, please, honey, if you had just hold off a second and just listen to it, you probably would have had a different stance. Okay. And it would not have been me trying to um, do all that. Okay. So be that as it may. So with that being said, my darlings, honey, that there is a that, honey. So I am Big Meach, honey, and this has been a Big Meach moment. I will talk to you guys again soon, honey. I've got to now get some rest because we got 16 hours to do at the donut factory, honey. Time to make the donuts. Yeah. Ciao.